Okay, so I'm very aware that we're quite up close and personal right now, but I was definitely summoned to just drop the camera like this right now because it's a very sporadic message that was coming through. So we're going to try to anchor and stabilize it. But I just want to give you some insight on what it is that you're experiencing. The first message that came through is that your avatar is shifting. So if you felt disorientated lately, like you're not fully your old self, but simultaneously you're not fully the new one yet, that is not confusion, but it's literally a process that is progressing. Okay, it's like a process that you're moving through, and it's a progression in your own process. I'm hearing the levels that you've been playing in this game. And the other message that came through is that you're not your personality, right? You are the consciousness that's streaming it. But when you begin to shift your attention, your avatar begins to recalibrate. And I'm seeing that as something that's happened for you, where you've shifted your attention. I'm also seeing you shifted your attention on a very specific vision, and your avatar is recalibrating to literally become the version of self, to embody the version of self that is going to go on to, I'm hearing, begin, continue, build, sustain, and achieve all the things in which you're foreseeing right now. That's what's happening. So it feels like you're literally being kind of walked back through time. You're witnessing the change in the person in whom it is that you're becoming that will go on to achieve these beautiful things. So there's a level of like embodiment or cohesion. And the other message that I got was basically I was listening to an interview from Cillian Murphy, and he described something that actors very rarely articulate so honestly. And he was basically saying that like when a film ends, you don't just turn the character off. There's a liminal phase where you're not fully the character, but then you also don't fully feel yourself completely. And there's displaced energy. That's the way that he says it. Almost like there's displaced focus, where if you spend a certain amount of energy in a very specific timeline or being a very specific version of self, there is this momentum that's suddenly cut off from that thing. There's so much energy that you flow towards this thing, and then it's just suddenly cut off. Of course, things are going to feel quite weird. And if you look at the etymology version of weird is someone who can control their fate or destiny. I'll probably get into that as like a side message, but it just feels like you're stepping into that energy where things do feel weird, because fate is something that you can control through the decisions that you make, right? It's your action that actually begins to control and dictate the fate in which you will experience. That's what it feels like. And he said something really grounded after that, which is if you focus on something with that level of intensity for months and then it suddenly stops, of course things are going to feel like strange. Of course they're going to feel like you're in this liminal space, and it becomes metaphysical, because what he's describing is not just acting and literally becoming a conduit to embody that character and that version of self, but he's literally describing identity embodiment, which is pretty much what Saturn and Aries is all about. That's where, and with Neptune and Aries too, it's where the intangible quantum superposition becomes the tangible physical version. So I'm seeing again the highest possible expression of the higher self is embodied in physical form. Like you are becoming the physical embodiment of your higher self that is now walking and navigating and roaming this earth according to that divine essence. So let's go ahead and break this down further when it comes to identity shifts, how that works, and the other messages that were coming through. This kind of caught me like spur of the moment, hence I haven't even got you guys on like a tripod or anything. I just kind of picked up my camera and rolled with it. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, I guess. Let's begin with the neuroscience of becoming and what's actually happening when it comes to the new neural networks that you're creating in your brain, because I'm seeing something that you're reinforcing again and again and again until it creates a synapse. It's like these new inroads that you're taking in your life, okay, but also new ways of being that you're implementing and integrating into your avatar. And I'm seeing like new things being pulled in from your inventory that were always accessible to you, but you're shaking up the algorithm where you're slowly becoming a version of self that is unrecognizable. So when we talk about the neuroscience behind it, this is your brain not clearly distinguishing between a vividly imagined experience, an emotionally rehearsed scenario, or a physically lived event. And when you mentally rehearse something with emotion, the same neural circuits activate as if they were physically happening. And this is neuroplasticity, because neurons that fire together wire together. So if an actor repeatedly thinks, feels, and behaves as a character, the brain strengthens those pathways, the body begins to adjust, you'll see the posture begin to change, and the micro expressions will shift, because the emotional baseline reorganizes itself. This is where the nervous system says, this is who we are now. And it doesn't label it as fiction. What it does is label it as repetition. This is why athletes use visualization, why trauma begins to imprint, and why affirmations without emotions simply don't work, but immersion does. Identity is neural habit. Psychologists call this narrative transportation. So I'll give you a few examples. One of them is when you watch a show, or you watch a movie, or you read a powerful book, you enter a state where your awareness relocates itself. For example, this could be where you invest into the character and you feel their emotions and your heart begins beating faster. And the brain doesn't say this is fake, it literally says this is happening. It's something that you experience as if it were your own. That's why you cry for fictional people, or your life feels dull after watching a powerful movie. It's because momentum shifts when a story ends. Now, if we apply that same principle into your avatar and we begin to zoom out, what of your daily life is simply the character that you've been streaming? And when your attention shifts, then your energy shifts, and then your avatar begins recalibrating into the version of self that is going to support with the direction of where your attention has just diverted to. That's what's going on with you right now. It's like I'm seeing you have your eye on something, or you've had your eye on something, and reality is reconfiguring and corresponding to that internal transformation, to that internal shift that has already occurred within you. If we talk about quantum identity and superposition, at the quantum level, particles exist in superposition, which is multiple potential states at once. Only when observed does the wave collapse into a definite outcome. Now, if we apply that to your identity, you technically exist in superposition. The version of you that's confident, insecure, abundant, scarce, powerful, powerless, healed, or wounded. All those versions exist in a waveform of potential, and when you repeatedly observe yourself as one of them, when you focus, feel, rehearse, or embody, you collapse the identity into stability. Wave collapse isn't just physics, it's psychological, because your attention is the observer. Your repeated embodiment is the collapse mechanism. You're not becoming somebody new, but instead you're selecting from available identity states. So why actors feel displaced is because when a film wraps, the attention stream stops and the momentum collapses. Neural pathways that were firing so intensely begin to lose their stimulus. And that's a reconfiguration phase, not the character and not the baseline itself. It's the in-between, that liminal state that I was talking about. That's the identity superposition recalibrating. And now if we apply this into life transitions, which I'm hearing you're going through right now, for example, like when you leave a relationship, and you felt this in your past as well, like when you shift careers, or you drop a trauma pattern in your life, or you step into just a new version of yourself, there will be this moment where you're neither fully the old self nor stabilized into the new one. You'll be in that liminal stage where I feel you right now. And that's not confusion, but it's literally a quantum recalibration that's taking place within you that your field is soon to respond to. The part that most people miss is that your subconscious cannot tell the difference between a rehearsed identity or a lived identity. Instead, it responds to emotion, repetition, focus, and embodiment. So if you repeatedly rehearse, I'm not enough, I'm stuck, I'm unlucky, or I'm behind, you wire that character. But if you begin to rehearse emotionally and somatically that I am sovereign, I'm supported, I'm aligned, or I am the one who moves, then your nervous system reorganizes and your baseline shifts. Your identity collapses into that version of self. This is not delusion, it's directed neuroplasticity paired with quantum attention mechanics. Actors are conscious conduits. They let a frequency move through them. But you're already doing that every day. The only question is it conscious? Because the body becomes what it rehearses, the brain wires what it repeats, and consciousness collapses what it observes. So you're not stuck, you're just streaming. And the avatar you choose to embody determines the version of reality that stabilizes around you. You exist in quantum superposition. Multiple versions of you are available right now. The confident, the hesitant, sovereign, doubtful, expansive, contracted. But the question is, which version will you observe long enough to collapse into form? Which identity will you streamline through repetition, emotion, and embodiment? Because the avatar that you consistently focus on is the one that crystallizes. First, you must choose the frequency in order to collapse that version of self into this gameplay experience. I'm seeing it as like streamlining or downloading that version of yourself and embodying it. So it reminds you of verse jumping. I don't know if you guys have watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, but it's this movie and they basically streamline these alternate parallel versions of them that have these gifts and abilities, and then they bring that into their timeline, and then their timeline begins to shift and recalibrate around the gifts of that version of self, right? So that's what it is. For example, I'm thinking about the karate scene where, she downloads, this woman, she downloads her parallel self that is this, beautiful artist in the art of karate or martial arts, and essentially that got her out of some situations that she wouldn't have been able to get out of as this version of self. And that's what I'm seeing, right? It's like you're streamlining the confident version of yourself, or you're streamlining the one that acts even if your confidence isn't there, right? That's what I'm seeing, because you're a multidimensional being. So there's all of these different dimensions or frequencies of you that you're always phasing in and out of, but you're consciously guiding your awareness to the one that you want to observe and crystallize and embody. That's what I'm seeing. So we're actually going to do a reading. I'm going to sit you up on my tripod now, and I'm going to take a look at the character in which whom you've been, whom it is that you're becoming, and the liminal space and what it is that you're feeling right now, and then also what you're calling in as a result of the version of self that you are becoming. Okay, I think that's going to be interesting. So give me a minute. Let me set this up and we'll get into it. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna pull my legendary Magic of the Gathering cards for this one. I want to take a look at the character in which whom you've been first, okay? Who have you been playing through? Magic of the Mind. Okay, Jace is super interesting because there's something that you've been shifting. Ooh, there's something that you've been shifting. Let me go ahead and read this. Okay, so you've had Jace, right? This says, the mind is a tool for you to use, but don't let it use you. Be the aware curator of your mind's content and throw out what doesn't serve you. So the character that you've been playing is someone that's been cultivating this relationship with your own mind. And I'm hearing you've reached a culmination point when it comes to thoughts that have gathered unconsciously and changing your relationship to it. I'm just seeing where you're at. It's like the version of stuff that you've been is someone that's been going through a clearing, somebody that's been clearing what doesn't serve you. And then look at this. Everything that is made by humans was first envisioned in the mind. So you're someone who's already been doing this. You are someone who has had this vision, okay? And now this is just something that's naturally downloading as the next step. Someone who masters their own mind wields a powerful tool. With the mind, you can see the unconscious patterns of your life, break free of them if you so choose, and imagine new realities. So this is already whom it is that you've been. Like, you've already been imagining this for yourself. It's something that you could have been taking a stand for, okay, when it comes to your own life with that at the base. So whom it is that you've been is already someone that understands the importance of the mind, right? For the effect of our life is the result of our own cause. And you've seen where unconscious cause, right? Unconscious action has led to you ending up in certain, I'm hearing basically ended up in certain timeline of experiences, culminating in your reality in very tangible ways. And you've been someone who's like, oh, maybe I don't want to be in this dream landscape anymore. Let me lucidly guide my life towards my next chosen destination. And I'm seeing it as it's not your first time. It's like you're doing this again, but it just may be in a different area of your life. Let's see what it is that you're experiencing now in the liminal phase. I just said face. So I feel like, again, you're like, this liminal face is something that's not yet quite formed. It's like you don't quite see whom it is that you're becoming. Let's try and get one here. How do you feel in this liminal space? Oh my gosh, so many messages keep coming out all at once. Let me see if I can get one. I feel like we may have to, it does it again. Okay, one. Sacred garden. Right now, what you're focusing on is having nourishing thoughts, right? This is about your mind being a sacred garden, right? Your thoughts are seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. Let me go and read this. Sacred garden. This is where you are right now. I'm seeing the earth as your garden. The garden in the back, in the metaphysical realm, is your own subconscious. So there's something around you're in a place where your reality is a reflection of your own subconscious core belief systems that would determine the way that you experience reality. And you're shifting into a different kind of experience because you're shifting your own relationship to the world around you as you understand, and it's simply a reflection of you, right? It's like you don't see the world as it is, you see it as you are. Okay, so externally, we are in a continuous cycle of planting, weeding, and harvesting. Internally, we are also planting gardens, the seeds being our thoughts and the harvest being our words and action. I'm also seeing the harvest being the world around you. That's what I was seeing. Make each step of the cycle a conscious act filled with intention, and you will reap a garden of delights. So you're basically in a space now where you're inputting very conscious action into the system. You have this intention, which is kinetic energy only when supported with action, right? That creates a velocity. It creates this momentum towards this new timeline that you're building. But there's also a reconfiguration that's taking place because it feels like you're kind of calling back your life force from people, places, and things that you've kind of had your attention scattered around, even subconsciously, and you're kind of freeing yourself from an old paradigm and you're fully investing in yourself in this new way. Okay, I'm hearing new profound way. So are you seeing too many weeds growing in the garden of your thinking? Thoughts are seeds that take root in your psyche, so start weeding the ones that don't serve you. Your clarity of mind, body, and spirit is too valuable. So this is a goddess. 𝓂𝓪𝓻 is the god of agriculture, the balance of humans and nature. So yeah, that's super interesting. It's like you're going through this agricultural cycle where everything connects to everything else. You're in a liminal space of essentially seeing a new reality settle in around you to also support this liminal space that you're in. Let me go ahead and take a look at whom it is that you're becoming. Memories. Interesting. And then you have transformation. You're someone that could be transforming their relationship to their past. That's whom it is that you're becoming. I'm seeing it as your future self will look back at the place in which you are now, and there's almost a level of appreciation. And when we talk about like the past and whom it is that you've been, the present of whom it is that you're, you know, where you may be feeling now and whom it is that you will become and whom it is that you're becoming, that is compartmentalizing what is simultaneously existing within you. It's like really you're going to feel all three at once. But let me go ahead and take a look at memories. Okay, memory says you can reinvent yourself at any time you choose. There is no way that you are. But if you don't become aware of this, you'll be locked into one way of being. If you feel like a stuck record, let go of the myth that you are only one way. And free yourself to consciously choose who you want to be in each moment. Whom it is that you're becoming is not just one version of self. Whom it is that you're becoming is someone that's mastering the art of avatar embodiment. Like you're someone that's essentially mastering the art of multidimensional travel when it comes to your interstellar travel. Like you can master the art of being multiple versions of yourself because you're a multifaceted, multidimensional being. That means that you're existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously, and you're choosing which one you want to kind of bring to the surface at any given moment in time, depending on the circumstance. I'm hearing depending on the environment, depending on the vision. It's like you can embody the discipline level of yourself. You can also embody the one who knows when to rest. You can also embody the one that has compassion for yourself when the version of there's like an octave of you that may be feeling anger, right? It's like it's so intricate in whom it is that you're becoming because you're not just one version of self, but I don't even know how to explain this, but it says when you're attached to a certain memory, especially the ones that cause you to suffer, you trap yourself and you also trap others as well. If you see others through your memory of them, you will keep them locked in your past. In your eyes, it will be frozen in stone. So again, this is saying that you're not just fixated in one way. And the beauty is, because you're recognizing yourself as a multidimensional being, you're also seeing the potential and in other beings as well who may be blocking themselves off from certain octave or expressions of them, and you're kind of mirroring that fluidity where I don't have to be one way, or I don't have to tie myself down to one thing. And there's just a level of, you know, to be fluid is to be detached. It's to become more formless. This reminds you of like crystalline essence. It's like you are becoming crystalline. You were embracing your bioplasma origin. You are somebody who is going to become a conduit itself to streamline whatever it is that's required of you. It's like you're highly conducive. Like you are a supercharged being, right? It's like superhuman consciousness where whatever perspective you need on that moment and the thing that is going to be, you know, most supportive for you in that timeline will be the version of self that you bring to the forefront. That's super beautiful. That it talks about superposition. You're coming back to a state of existing in quantum superposition, choosing which one you want to focus on, and that will become the one that you crystallize into in that moment in time. But those crystals are also fluid. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah. Wow. This feels like a plot twist reading. And it just makes sense. Like, it makes so much sense. It does. Let me go ahead. I mean, that is it. I mean, they're showing me even with the starseed messages. I'll go ahead and pull one. But they're basically showing me in, you know, fixed stars in astrology, you can see how, where, for example, depending on, so for example, if you had, Cancer in your 10th house, then you're going to have the Sirius star system in your 10th house. So that could be a serious quantum non-local connection, right? A parallel life. And you're streamlining the knowledge or the healing abilities from that planetary star system and your star lineages from that realm, and that's bleeding into your experience on Earth and the way that you show up when it comes to your public identity, your career, your role, your legacy, right? The way that you're meant to impact other souls on Earth through the work that you do. That could be, again, very visible or public. I'm seeing that for you, right? You might have Arcturus in your like second house. You could have a natural talent or a gift, or you could generate streams of revenue from some type of healing abilities that you have or futuristic vision that you have. I'm just seeing that, right? Depending on the aspects, you may want to see where you're aspected. You may have Lyra in your 7th house, right? Across your descendant, right? That's a Capricorn energy. It's a Vega constellation. And then maybe the Lyran version of yourself, right? That parallel, that quantum non-local connection that you're quantumly entangled with, that begins to kind of bleed into your third dimensional experiences in 7th house avenues. So that could be customers or clients in the marketplace. It may be platonic friendships. It could be business partnerships. It could be, you know, romantic endeavors, anything to do with one-to-one encounters. You could see a lot of Lyra parallel lives and people that you have connections with, right? These souls that you have connections with also bleed into your timelines on Earth, and that will play out in this mirrored reflection. That's what I'm seeing, right? That's super interesting. If you did have that, you'd have Cancer in your 1st house and you'd be Cancer rising. But yeah, that's super, wow. That makes so much sense though. It does. I mean, that's what we talk about when, like, I talk about that a lot in personal reads, for the Soul's Odyssey. But it's almost like this is your Soul's Odyssey. This is what it is. Okay, this card flipped and it says Star Ancestors, Hidden Secrets, Lost Wisdom, and Look a Little Deeper. When I pulled that out, Horus came out too. So Horus is the embodiment of Christ consciousness. It's a fractal of awareness that essentially, you know, it splits off from source. It goes on and has its own subjective experience from the objective. And it collects data around, okay, what would life be to be a Jennifer? What would life be to be an Abigail? What would life on Earth be to be a Felix? It's that type of energy, right, where you're experiencing life through your own subjective lens. But I'm hearing your subjective lens can also change and shift There was also another message I was getting from, yeah, and then you become aware of your connection to your origin point. So there's a level of coherence that you have, essentially. That's what I'm seeing. There's a level of coherence that you've had, and it can feel like you've fallen into decoherence when you're in a liminal stage. But as long as you have that electrical communication to source, right, like a cell, then you understand that your point of origin, and you understand that there's a purpose for what it is that you're currently experiencing. So you don't lose yourself as you're moving and experiencing yourself through density, for you're experiencing the third dimensional realm, but your origin point extends and branches far beyond this matrix. So what happens essentially with the avatar is that it's merely a vessel that enriches your soul's experience, and it becomes a essential piece of technology that you are able to utilize, and technology goes through upgrades. So I'm seeing that for you. It's like you're going through another kind of upgrade that's allowing you to return back to that formless nature before returning back to the light. It's where you remember yourself as not just the vessel, but you are the timeless consciousness that's navigating life, utilizing the vessel. You're not just experiencing moving through space and time, but space and time is experiencing itself through you. So it's a beautiful illusion that you've created for yourself, so why not play in it? The illusion of physicality. You think that you're physical. You're not even touching anything in which you touch. I'm not holding the cards in my hand. There is an electromagnetism impact that's essentially happening, where the negative electrons orbiting the atoms of my hand are just repelling against the negative electrons orbiting the atoms within these cards. So there's an illusion of physicality that we're experiencing in this realm. There's a repulsion. And that's what I'm seeing. That very repulsion is the very thing that propels you. That very resistance. And when you surrender to that resistance, it becomes a beautiful experience. And I'm seeing you have to kind of surrender into fractals of yourself that are wanting to integrate and become whole. It's like you are merging all pivotal parts of yourself in order to create the ultimate one. Because you're not just one version. This is beautiful. Okay. So anyway, this is a fractal of awareness that becomes conscious of itself. And once it becomes conscious, it begins to behave very differently when it moves through this system. So this is loyalty, safety, and trust, right? So are you loyal to yourself? Can you trust yourself? And can you remind the vessel that it is safe while undergoing these changes, right? It could feel like you're dying in many ways. That's the way that I'm seeing it. Because there's like a death to an old version, but it's not really a death, because death is just energy being transferred or transforming itself. And you are energy. And your expression is transforming itself. And it's still encoded into your field. It's an octave within you that's then energetically projected outwardly. But it's encoded into your field until you choose to collapse it back into form. This is super interesting. And then you have Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty, Devotion, Priestess, Mystic Teacher. So again, I don't feel like it's your first time experiencing this, returning back to your fluid-like state while moving through form, because you have helpers in the subtle realm. So again, these are also guides encoded into your field at the time of incarnation. And they're assisting you when it comes to embracing your multidimensionality. Wow. I love this reading. I'm gonna love and leave it right there though. It's a good place. I feel like it's a good place for sure. So, let me get one more message for the Shaman's Dream Oracle message. I want to take a look at the theme for like this scene that you're focusing on, the crossing, the initiation. So yeah, this is initiation. You're going to need to essentially, I feel like you're getting acquainted with the inventory that you have in your field and gifts that you can kind of pull forward, if that makes sense. that are going to be required of you. So, rite of passage initiation. You've come to stand on one side of the river. The opposite bank leads into the darkness of the eternal cave, where the old dies and then is born again. This is a place where time is forgotten and the seasons cease their dance and stand still as if in a temporary repose. You must cross the river now, honoring and respecting this transition, for it's time to say goodbye to the old ways of navigating your world, which is a fixed one octave or version of you. So don't be afraid. You've come to the edge of the river because you're ready, and all rivers lead to the ocean, right? You're ready to let go of all the ways that don't serve you, and all the ways in which you've truly kept yourself from living. Intimacy requires vulnerability and truth. Can you strip away the mask of the barriers and false strength in order to discover what it is that you're made of? Stepping into the boat waiting for you, let it carry you into the cave where the shadows are waiting to be illuminated so that you can be born into the world again without denial or artifice. Making the crossing is a beautiful, powerful act of the highest love. Beautiful. And what is love? Love is unconditional, right? Unconditional love is to love all octaves and all expressions of yourself. Even the fearful one, not to demonize it, right? The fearful one is just an octave asking to be held. It's asking for you to feel that fractal expression with the feeling of safety, because that's what it lacks. I'm seeing find out what each version or fractal expression lacks and fill it. You are your own source. So yeah, I'm gonna love any of you right there. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing. I'd love to have you around. Personal reading details also down below. Also check out Ultra if you're looking for some high quality 888 graded jewelry. You have 2 discounts for that in the description box down below. $1 of the proceeds are donated towards Otter Sanctuaries. I don't know if I said that. And yeah, let me know. Are you feeling this theme in your life? Do you feel like you can't really compartmentalize or tie yourself to one very specific expression? Because it reminds me of I believe in Japan they have something quite similar where you have different faces. You have the face that you show to the world, the face in whom it is that you are in your private life. You're a multifaceted being with many faces, just like a diamond, not just one. And I'm seeing that you're kind of alternating and shifting and switching. So until next time, bye.